Codemasters DiRT is actually the latest in a long line of Colin McRae rally games, but it's not quite the same devout rally racing game that the old games in the series were. This actually takes a little bit more of the rally sport challenge approach, adding in a number of other racing disciplines like hill climbs and crossover races, core races, and basically a lot of dirt track races where you're actually racing against other cars. Still, the gameplay is through and through pretty much what the Colin McRae series has been in recent years. It's a mixture of simulation and arcade driving that's a good bit of fun to play, and it also happens to be one of the most fantastic looking racing games on the Xbox 360 and PC. So yeah, let's just get that detail right out of the way. This is an amazing looking racer that has some of the best looking car models and tracks you'll see anywhere. A lot of it is the damage modeling, not just in the cars, but in the tracks. You can break up the cars real nicely, break windshields, shear off bumpers, dent up the bodywork, shear off the paint, do all sorts of just crazy damage to the cars. But you can also break up the tracks as you're driving along. You can bust through fences and railings, dirty up your cars with the dirt and gravel and mud on the track. It's just dynamic looking racing that lets you just do a whole mess of stuff to the car and the tracks, and all the while it looks awesome. It's all in the details with the tracks especially. The lighting effects are absolutely fantastic, like some of the sunset tracks out in the desert. There's this really amazing glow to everything that just washes out the whole screen. The lighting reflects off the cars really nicely. It's just a beautiful game to look at. The one trade-off for the visual quality of the game is that it doesn't always run that well. The frame rate is wildly inconsistent, especially in any track where you're racing against other cars. The second you start bunching up with other cars, it just tanks. It starts to look like stop-motion animation. It's not as bad on the rally courses where you're just driving by yourself, and in fact, it's mostly pretty good there. But the game never goes above a steady 30 frames a second, and in cases, it actually kind of goes down to like the single digits. In terms of the actual act of driving in the game, there's a lot of different ways to do it. There are 6 different racing disciplines, ranging from buggies on dirt tracks to straight up, rally races to big rigs climbing up giant mountains. Each of the different varieties handles very differently. The cars don't all feel the same. There's a big difference between a big rig and a small little Mitsubishi for sure. The game itself has a really nice feel to it. The cars do feel a little bit on the floaty side, not necessarily all that realistic in terms of some of the handling physics, but it's still fun to drive, and power sliding around turns and wrecking into other cars, and some of the exaggerated crash physics especially are really awesome. You can engage in any of the different racing disciplines in single races or events, but you can also jump into the career mode, which is a big-ass pyramid of various events that you can just kind of jump into and progress tier by tier by tier. There are tons of different events to take part in the career mode, and as you progress, you unlock new tiers as well as gain cash you can use to buy new cars and liveries for the various vehicles. On the flip side, multiplayer support is a massive disappointment. You can't race against other people. Like, all the different wheel-to-wheel permutations of racing that are in the game are just not available online at all. All you get is rally and hill climb, and all you do is race against other people in time trials at the same time. So there's no other cars on the track, and when you're in the lobby system, all you do is just get to vote on one of several different random choices of races and tracks. There's no way to search for other cars, there's no way to search for specific tracks. You vote and you hope for the best. Considering there are a billion other racing games out there that have a variety of different ways to play online, and that this game has wheel-to-wheel racing varieties that you just can't even play online at all, that is just such a tease and really annoying. But really, the multiplayer support is the only thing about the game that truly disappoints. The driving model is arcadey but a lot of fun, and the game is easily one of the best looking driving games on either the 360 or the PC. As challenging as the game can be, it's not so difficult or esoteric that people outside the hardcore rally racing audience can't just pick up and play and enjoy it. It's the sort of game that rally fans are certainly going to spend hours and hours of playing, and even just standard racing fans are probably going to have a really good time with.